move now to two quick points about something that matters to us a lot, apart from the risk versus opportunities discussion. One is the wider access to the enablers of AI. So there's this vectorized number string, 75%, 15%, 10%, and then 5%. So the compute that's available for training AI models in the US, China, Europe, and 5% is for 5 million people around the world. So there is this immense concentration of talent as well in the Bay Area, in some other parts of the world. So how do countries get going in the light of this? And at the same time, we are getting some food for thought when you listen to the CEO of IBM say that, all these trillions of dollars that are being bet on the scaling approach to AGI, so you need nearly $1 trillion of returns every year just to be able to repay the loans. So what do they bet on these countries that are in that 5% category?
Well, I agree with that. Right now, there's a big question as to whether the amount of revenue generated from AI services can justify the investments that are being done at the moment. And it's not clear at all. There's some number that was recently published, may or may not be correct, but I will repeat it anyway. A typical service, professional subscription to OpenAI are probably $200 a month. For the power users, the amount of the cost of serving one of those power users that pays $200 a month is about $15,000. This cannot go on for very long. Right now, the use of AI is being subsidized by the investors in those companies and in this infrastructure. At some point, the revenue are going to have to be commensurate with the cost, which means either the price has to go up or the cost of inference has to go down drastically, and probably both at the same time. And in the end, it's not clear that the service rendered by those AI systems will be cheaper than humans. It's already the case for program generation, that if you pay the real cost of code generation, it's probably as expensive as a human. Some companies are kind of rethinking their strategy about this because of this. So there may be they are reckoning over the next year, possibly, which would be similar to the internet bubble crash in the early 2000s, when companies were laying fiber optics everywhere, and then a lot of those fibers went dark, and then some companies like Google kind of snapped them up because they were cheap. There might be a similar phenomenon where we're going to have a lot of cold GPUs, and I'm sort of secretly crossing my finger for this to happen because it will make the training of model a lot cheaper, right? So I can't make predictions there. The people running those services, I think, know what they're doing to some extent at least. And you had the previous one, which I forgot.
Right, maybe we can bring that point up in the final question for our chat today, which is what's really useful today? Because apart from this concern about sovereignty, what do I invest in? The question that comes up is what's useful for the development challenge, agriculture, health, and education, small language models, narrow AI, in some areas perhaps LLM. So where do you see the most kind of the low-hanging fruit, the most value coming out of that kind of low-hanging fruit?
Certainly a lot of applications in things like agriculture, things like that are still based on LLMs. So basically, give knowledge information to people. Do not require the top of the line, super expensive models. You can do this with relatively simple, small models that you can run locally in some cases. So I think there is a lot of opportunities here. I should say also on the hardware side, the kind of hardware you need for training LLMs or training AI systems and for running them is very different. And there's been some success in hardware companies that have been attempting to break the NVIDIA monopoly essentially the side of inference. If you want to serve the entire population of India, the cost of inference, farmers in India, for example, they could, be wearing smart glasses. The experiment was done actually by people at Meta. You give smart glasses to farmers in India, and they can look at their crop and ask their AI system, is this the right time to harvest? What is this disease I'm seeing on my crop? What kind of weed is this? Should I get rid of it? Things like that. This is extremely useful to them as long as those systems speak that language. But the price of the cost of inference must come down by a factor of 20 to 100 for this to become practical to a wide population. So a lot of work to be done in hardware, efficient software. There's a lot of incentive for existing companies to do this because most of their operational cost is actually power for the data centers. So they have a huge incentive to reduce costs as well. But that shouldn't stop countries, companies, researchers to participate in this.